Okay, guys, so we are live. So for those listening at home, welcome to the Dungeon Musings YouTube channel. My name is Kevin Madison, and I'll be your friendly shop steward today, because today we're carrying on with our ongoing campaign playing Paizo Publishing's excellent fantasy RPG Pathfinder 2nd edition, currently using the remastered rules, and we are using that to play in our own custom setting of the Spires of Paridar, what is typically a setting of Coalpunk adventure, industrial progress, class disparity, and occult conspiracy. As you can see from our illustration, however, our current mystery takes us to a new world under a new sun. But the stars of this setting remain the same, so let me introduce you to the stars of our session today. I'll go the order I've got you guys on the screen here. Why don't you tell us who you are and who you're playing? First up, we've got Sean.
Hey, I'm playing Golag, son of Doc. He is an orc witch detective.
Very nice. Remind me to tell you later on, too, there's a... Orc-witch sandwich kind of joke that I wrote out, not realizing I was going to sound out loud, and then as I was working, I was like, "Oh, that's a dumb idea," and had to make a switch to one name. So, next up is Ingolf.
Yeah, hi, I'm Ingolf. I'm playing Basil Rathbone, who is an Isoki investigator.
Nice. And last but certainly not least is Darren.
Hello there, I'm playing Dr. Adam Ersprung, who is a creative flesh warp inventor, and currently without his trusty sidekick, Igor.
That's right, yeah. Our stalwart deep sea debutante player is on his way to Ireland today, so he will not be able to join us tonight. But, guys, what do you recall having happened last time? And I'll even bring you over to the... screen we were using last time
as a special treat.
Exactly. There we go. Let's make sure I'm the right
to see it first.
yeah.
Before we can. Oh yeah, this place.
Oh, this screen, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
So this was, for those listening at home, our last session. It was only at the end that I realized I'd failed to move everyone over from the loading screen. So. There's truly playing in theater of the mind last time. But what happened last time? What were the eventful... it was actually Sally who was the impetus behind everything that happened last time.
Yeah, it was mainly a sort of travelling session through the caves once again. And like you said, Sally went on ahead of us to sneak ahead, to alert us to any troubles, and basically spied this orc who was sort of fishing, I think, really, or certainly catching something with a net. I think he was catching some sort of larvae creature. Mm-hmm. And Sally sort of tracked him back to... Sally encountered him, sort of come up cautiously, introduced herself, seemed to make quite a good introduction, and they discussed, how she got there, and said a little bit about the rest of the group. This Zabub, he decided that he was happy to take her back and show her where he sort of holds out in this cave while he's hunting or gathering these things for, I assume, the rest of his tribe, which he revealed later on. So eventually he agreed for Sally to bring the rest of the group to meet him. We discussed various bits about how he got there. Golag had a sort of a chat with him, orc to orc. He discussed that, he probably wouldn't be seen very favourably because of his markings on his face. We discussed what we could do about that. We was talking about maybe Golag sort of separating his shadow from him temporarily and sort of pretending it to be a normal shadow when we meet up, because he'd agreed to take us to his tribe and introduce us and see if they could hopefully help us to get back up to the surface. Adam was suffering from this blood fungus sort of disease. And I think when we left it, I was just about to try and sort of treat myself while we were resting up at his cave or his sort of hideout place. He was resting up, and I helped him with some of his traps and things, like improved them. And yeah, I was going to heal up and he was going to rest up and regroup before heading to see his tribe, I think.
Anything to add, guys? Golag, you were the one who was involved in much of the conversation last time. Anything that stood out to you?
Yeah, no, just, what, quite a bit of discussion about, like, Golag had to make some decisions on the spot of how much to tell him, but, we could use an ally, and it seemingly turned out fine. And pretty much gave him the whole. I don't think I held back anything.
No, you talked about his. Oh, I watched like the last quarter of the session, just to remind myself where we left things. And you guys talked about your mother. You talked about. He was asked you whether you were intending to seek her out or whether you're simply trying to go back home. There was discussion of how you might acquire the black or the obsidian roses that you were looking for. There was also discussion of the blooms, the obsidian blooms that are found here. Anything else?
I don't think so. And then a fair amount of discussion among the party of that discussion and what transpired and how to proceed.
He gave us a few locations, didn't he? Like the Clanker Marsh and the Shadow Spire, and he gives a little bit of information. But he did mention not to give all the information that everything you've said to him. He suggests hold some of that back when you talk to the other orcs, because that could go quite badly if you mention your relationship.
I think I was just going to rely on the fact that we got brought here against our will, and put our back against that, and have to deal with the scarring. Like that was kind of probably, as you mentioned, try to probably have the shadow, make it look a little less suspicious, best we could,
to hide the shadow elements of your tattoos. You mean, right? Have it just be scarring. Yeah. Okay.
Yep. And,
awesome.
There's one more thing I was going to mention. Oh, and I told him if it would help to make me less to like have someone else do the talking or something when we got to the village at some point of the party that was less controversial. That was fine with me too. Whatever seemed to make sense.
Yeah, there was some discussion as well of how to present yourself to the community as well, because you have to meet with the Reeve first in order to get approval of joining the community. He thought the best way to do that is he's got a staging ground for the hunters going into the deep places that he was going to set you guys up with. He'll go back to the Black Tower and then speak to the Reeve and see about providing a proper introduction. That'll give you the best chance of finding refuge with him.
Yep.
Okay. Then, unless there's anything else we're missing, you guys have some downtime while Zaboob is completing his hunting. What, if anything, do you guys discuss? You did have some booze as well.
I mean, I've got to work on this blood fungus, curing that. So I assume that takes up most of my time. So I can't work on Igor, can I? At the same time?
No, and you would need a day to work on. Is it a day to work on the cure as well?
I think we said 8 hours.
Oh, right, yeah, because of the crafting rules. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so then, yeah, and which means if you want to take another day here, you could fabricate another Igor and then have that with you when you go?
I mean, I think it'd be quite impressive to turn up with Igor rather than a bunch of spare parts. So that might be in favour of us, to show off some of our inventions and such. I don't know.
Might be less impressive if you show up as a zombie.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm going to do that first. I'm just saying, do we stay another day and get Igor up and running? So sort of rest up for 2 days rather than 1 day. That was.
If we have enough food, I'm all for it. But otherwise, I think we must cure you first and then go on.
Yeah, I think our guest was quite forthcoming with the food, wasn't he? He was quite generous.
Yeah.
So, I'm not saying it's to our taste necessarily, but I think it was doing the job. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then, Dr. Urspring will be working on his cure. Basil and Golag, what are you guys working on? I need to grab my GM screen too. 1 sec. What are you thinking?
What are you thinking, Basil? You got...
Yeah, I think everyone expects me to be a trader here, so maybe I should get some overview of what it is people trade over here. So knowing a little bit about the goods, I don't know. I mean, he will have some stuff in his house just to have an idea of what they are doing here. Maybe that just a little bit.
Basil's the kind of guest who goes immediately to your medicine cabinet when he visits.
Yeah, like that. Yeah, you want to know, and what books he reads. So something. I mean,
yeah.
Some would say it is curiosity, something like that. Yeah.
Okay. And Golag?
Does anyone have any suggestions of what Golag could...
Well, let's take a look at
you could do some shadow practice.
That's true. Yeah, have the
get
shadow.
your shadow to actually perform as a shadow for a little bit. That might help to make it a bit more realistic if we come to it.
That's a good idea to do some of that. And he's also looking forward to just a rest and a fresh preparation.
Yeah.
Of spells.
Yeah, so which you're definitely finally getting because of this this sort of safe cave.
So probably those 2 things, so just a little bit of spell work, a little bit of shadow work.
Okay. So Golag is doing that. One thing too, and I'm not to say that you guys need to necessarily, but a reminder that you can swap out class features using downtime with Pathfinder 2. So if you want to swap out a talent, or rather a feat, or a spell or something that isn't working for you any longer, I think the spells for you can't do that because yours aren't. You either
I'm pretty sure you could, but we could.
Let me double check. No, guys. I think that's the whole point of finding spells in, like, finding spell books for your type of character and mages, as opposed to characters who have only a set list that they cast from.
Gotcha.
So let me double check here. Yeah, feats, skills, and some selectable class features. You can't retrain ancestry, heritage, background, class, or attribute modifiers. When you retrain,
always wanted to be a tiefling, so just
let me take a look at the witch. Let's see here, and I'll have the cult in my head for the rest of the day. Let's see. Learning spells. You can learn new spells independent of your. So each time you gain a level, your patron teaches you your familiar 2 spells of any rank, chosen from the common spells of your tradition. Feats can also grant other ones. You can learn other spells by consuming the scrolls. We've done that before. You and your familiar can use a learn a spell activity to learn to teach your familiar a spell from another witch's familiar. Yeah, so it's like you and if you were a sorcerer where you only have a list of specified spells and like you never swap them out, you've got the flexibility to change every day, as opposed to sorcerers or bards or paladins that have a fixed list of things that they cast from. So downtime, you can't swap out spells. Other features like feats, you can do that, but you wizards, witches, that's not the kind of spellcaster you are.
They can never retrain spells.
You can never retrain spells. The way you gain new spells is by either gaining levels or by accessing them in the world and then teaching them to your familiar. So like finding other witches, they can have that, or having your familiar consume spell scrolls or pages from a spell book. Gotcha.
I mean, the one thing I was going to retrain was one that I'd retrained away from. So
oh yeah, what was that?
It was that lucky number spell was replaced false life. And
okay, so if you accidentally retrained it away, then yes.
Yeah.
Like you I think there is one. Hold on, there is one. There are some classes when you gain a level you can swap out spells, but again that's a limited, that's a thing, a function of gaining a level, not a function of downtime. Let me just see if that's what you're thinking of.
Oh, and can you retrain during leveling up? Can you retrain then?
That's what I'm saying, is that's I'm wondering if that's the case. There are some classes that can do that.
Oh,
I don't.
You know what? That's what I've been thinking of this whole time. This conversation, I've been thinking of the ability to retrain during leveling, not downtime.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, no.
I was making a mistake.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I didn't even think about swapping during downtime. I didn't even know that was a thing. I was
no, and I mean it is for. And actually, I don't know if it is for other classes. Looking at what the rules were, we so rarely engage with the downtime rules in any of our Pathfinder 2 games.
Yeah.
Actually, and it doesn't say you can do that in the remaster version of the Witch.
It usually says you can retrain.
Yeah, if you can do that, it'll say like a lot. And again, because we've been running a fair bit of 5th edition too, I might be superimposing that on this. Let me take a look at the sorcerer, because that would be the class. Was that only Pathfinder Core 2? Let's see. Here we go, sorcerer. Yeah, that might be removed. Sorcerers specifically are able to swap that. Witches aren't. So if you want to swap back to that original one anyway, then that works out, because you shouldn't have been able to do that.
Okay. And that wasn't. I've never even thought of downtime. I've always thought of leveling.
Even though it's leveling, like with the witch as a class, can't do that. Once you've picked your spells, you're stuck with them.
Gotcha.
Okay. All right. I'll grab. Is it here? Just out of curiosity, Sean, I'm going to take a look at the previous version of the Witch. So maybe the class used to be able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. No, it's always worked that way. You've never been able to swap out spells. It could have been just that you may have read it in one of the other classes, or if you were looking online, it could have been one of the sorcerer or bard or something classes. So
Well, when we talked about it, I don't remember us saying. It's been years, obviously. So,
Yeah.
but it just seemed like we were always talking about, oh yeah, you can swap things. I don't remember the conversation of, that you can't swap spells. It always seemed permissive, not.
No, and that could have been an error on my part.
Yeah.
But like, it's clearly the rules never allowed witches. Just for your edification too, like that's to capture, like that's the whole reason you would find spell books and scrolls and shit like that in classic D&D, is because that would also add to the wizard's repertoire. That was part of the exciting reason. It was also the reason that if you had a shitty, a DM who forgot to add scrolls and stuff like that, like I do all the time, you would have a wizard who never got a chance to really learn new scrolls. So I will endeavor to make sure you've got more shit. Although you did consume one, right? You taught your...
there were a couple scrolls, actually.
That you've learned already.
The professor, I think.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah. Good job, Kev. Here we go. Never mind.
Here you go.
Never mind. I'm doing my job.
Yeah.
All right. So Golag is going to retrain this, but what you can do is rememorize different spells in your familiar.
Preparation, yeah.
Yeah. And Basil is going to be investigating stuff. So let's start with Dr. Ursprung. Your medicine check, I think? Well, I think it's crafting, right? Because you're crafting something. Oh, no, maybe it's medicine.
It seems more medicine to me, but
yeah, I buy that.
Not sure. Okay, here we go.
Nice roll. Holy smokes. No problem. You managed to, with the materials that are here and the things you can cobble from Igor, you're able to put together something to adequately treat your, blood fungus infection.
Yep.
So, good. Basil. Why don't, let's see here. It's probably perception, I guess, eh? Unless there's a lore that you think might apply. Oh, you're muted, Ingolf.
So, sorry.
Timo.
Yeah, Timo. No, it wouldn't change the number, so it makes no difference whether I roll perception or something.
One of your lures came, so go ahead and give us a perception check then, please. Nat 20, baby. Okay. So what you find among here, tell us what specifically you're looking for.
Yeah, I just wanted to know basically how this society works here. What kind of products he made the orcs make, and some things they trade in from the Isoki and so on. So I just want to know what my folks basically trade.
So without talking to him, it's going to be, and recognizing this is a hunting camp, it's going to be very limited for what you're going to be able to learn.
Maybe I find something with I don't know, some marks or something. Like
what
that.
you find is not necessarily, I mean, beyond what he's obviously doing here, which is catching these, grubs and raising them. That seems to be a lucrative thing. He seems to be taking good care to ensure that these things are healthy and whatever when he's bringing them up. Mm-hmm. There's no sign of butchering here, so it's not like, or at least not wide scale. So it's not as if like he's slaughtering these things and bringing hides up. But what you do find kind of tucked away among his, where he would be sleeping, there is some kind of scroll. Remind me again, what words, what languages do you speak?
I hope common, draconic, infernal, orcish, Sakroth, I don't know, this is undercommon, I think, now, and Isoki.
Isoki, okay. So this would be in Draconic, I think. Let me take a look at the languages here in Remaster. Where is skills? Here we go. Hmm. $89. Okay. Okay. So what you find is something that is written in Draconic, and it seems to be a small. It's like a little, like, kind of like the kind of thing that you would see among the devotees of the Church of the Heavenly Host. If you had like a favored piece of scripture or a favored aphorism or something like that, you might have it on a placard or something that you would use and you know, you would gain comfort from or whatnot. There is some kind of phrase referencing the inscribed word on here. And he seems to have that tucked away. It's difficult to say what else it might relate to, but the way that it is placed, it does seem to be in amongst some other sort of personal effects that this person may have enjoyed. It is tucked away with a book as well that just seems to be like a it's probably like a piece of fiction of some kind. So he's clearly literate as well.
Interesting.
Other than that, that's really all you find before he returns.
Okay. So I would tuck everything back away neatly so it doesn't look like I searched his things, as one does.
How long is it before Golag and Dr. Earthsprung realize that Basil's probably done the same thing to your stuff?
I think I came to that realization many years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine not realizing that. I don't think that's new. Yeah.
We're always wondering about the red hairs in your brush and so on.
You know, Basil going through my stuff, me having Sylvan look after Basil, you know, what's he been doing? You know, this whole circle has been going on for years.
So Zaboob returns with more of his trappings, and he'll check in on everyone. Dr. Sprung, your treatments, or Adam, your treatments are going well?
Yeah, I'll relay to him that I think I've got it under control. Hopefully, the symptoms will start to fade, and by the time you get to your tribe, it'll be undetectable, I would think.
That will help.
So, we were thinking of staying a night longer because Adam wants to rebuild his creature.
He
has a mechanical servant, yeah. That we would like to travel with him again.
I have work that will keep me occupied for another day.
Yeah, if you want to, I could join you and help you hunting or something. I'm quite stealthy.
You're certainly free to join. Trapping is not the same as hunting, so we need not be as stealthy as needs be, but in the deep places, it is prudent to be cautious, of course. But I shall enjoy that. You may see much of this canyon. And you, Golag? Are you feeling rested?
Yes, pretty good. Pretty good. Thanks, Zaboob. Yeah, just been doing a bit of work on spells and getting fully rested. Indeed.
Good. Then, shall we sup and sit down and have dinner once again? Anything you wish to discuss with him in particular? Otherwise, he'll just sort of chit-chat his way through the evening.
I could just at one appropriate place just cite some aphorism in Draconic to see whether he recognizes the language.
Sure. His eyebrow goes up and he says, "You know the scale tongue?"
Yes, I do.
Do they have the scaly folk where you are from?
Yes. So I think we met kobolds already, so they would speak Draconic, but I don't know about dragons. So
dragons exist in Paridar. You just have yet to meet one yet.
Yeah.
Yet, I said yet twice in that. I'm that excited for when we get to finally get a fang dragon in.
Yeah. The sea dragon, he was no real dragon, I suppose.
I was going to say, didn't we fight a dragon out of sea?
That was a drake. So it is a draconoid, but not a dragon. You will remember when you face a dragon.
Yeah.
Especially with the new, they haven't showed up yet in print, but it's in the mail right now. I've the Monster Core 2 and the Alien Core arriving, and those have some fucking awesome dragons in them. So I can't wait to come up with an excuse to make use of those. There's a rune dragon. There's a plague dragon. It's not called a plague dragon. It's called something else, but it's great stuff. Great stuff. So he says that's interesting. You speak many tongues then, Basil?
Yes, quite a few. It came handy.
Is that common where you are from, to be familiar with so many tongues?
The city we are from is a place of all cultures and all races, basically. All species meet there for reasons I don't understand, but it is mixed, very mixed.
We spoke of Shadowspire City yesterday. You may find yourself more at home there. There are many minotaurs, centaurs, jotun, orcs, surki, tengu, lizard folk, the scaly kind, kalo, tripki, and Yusaki like yourself. All
interesting.
Find home within Shadowspire.
I don't know, just a weird theory, like I always have those. It seems like the places where those spires are some kind of nodes in some kind of weird system where all these creatures come together.
The spires can. Do you mean the black spires?
Yes. I mean, I don't know about your land in particular, but the city we are from, it has those ancient spires that seem to be much older than the city itself. And they're magical, and they seem to be... Yes.
Are they black in color?
Nope. I don't know. There were different.
All white.
White. All but so some were more like. So they are white. Different. Depending on the way they were cleaned. Some are whiter than others.
Are they? Do they differ in size? You remember, they're not. They're all uniform.
No, they're all uniform. The only thing that was interesting, we once found one that was broken. And we don't know of any force in our city that was able to actually hurt or somehow damage such a spire.
That is... Oh, just delete your token?
Yeah, I was just trying to get rid of that one.
There you go. All you have to do is go to the red dot and just click on it.
Yeah.
Okay. So the look on Zipup's face, he seems intrigued. That's most curious. Another commonality of your land and ours. The black spires, the obelisks, they are found all throughout. We call them the orc lands. Arthun is an older name.
Okay.
But they are found throughout all the lands. The Black Tower draws its name from the obelisk that lies at the center, in fact. We've never heard of one being destroyed, though.
Yeah. Do you know if anyone tried to damage one?
Certainly. By accident, by willful intent, none. And they're found in the most peculiar locations, some within Shadowspire City for the prevalence of them there, but they can be found standing lone and unaccompanied in the middle of the dunes, in the middle of the jungles of the Orklands. Even, it's said, deep beneath the Cankermire.
Yeah. I'm somewhat allergic to spires that are close to water. Because
and he sort of gestures aside and gestures at his gills once again. He says, "You need not be."
No, unfortunately not. And maybe I have a scar from where the kelpie had me. So some creature tried to drown me.
Little known fact: they changed the rules for grappling in Remaster because of Ingolf's emails. So, what he so he says that's most. In your land, they know not who constructed the spires.
No. Actually, our lands are somewhat weird in a sense that it seems to shroud the mind in a way. So everything that is in the past becomes more and more obscure, and you don't really remember. I remember fighting in a war, but I couldn't even tell you when the war ended or how.
And that doesn't trouble you?
It does very much, but if everyone around you suffers from the same fate, you can question it, but it will only get...
Now that you're here, I think it's reasonable to think that, Basil, you can be as troubled as what you, Ingolf, might be. When you're in Paridar, it doesn't bother you. Like, it's not just a matter that no one else makes an issue of it. It's genuinely like, whatever, you know?
Yeah. It is. There is some kind of thing troubling the minds. It seems our minds work better when we're here.
You think your obelisks, the white obelisks, that they are related to that?
I don't know if it's the obelisks. I think it's the white blossoms, but...
He gets up and kind of goes to sit next to you. He grabs a small, breaks up a small twig from the things, and he draws on the sand in front of you what is a outline of one of the white spires of Paridar.
Yeah.
And he says, is this their shape?
Yes.
This is the obelisk you will see at the Black Tower and anywhere within Shadowspire City.
There seems to be some kind of connection between our places, that's for sure. And there seems to be a connection between the flowers or the blossoms, I'm very sure as well. So there is something that we call the master of the blossoms, of the white blossoms. And we believe that is a person. We don't even know whether it is a person or some kind of organization. We don't know. But it seems to be that this person is somehow in control of what's going on in this city. But unlike here, it is a very, very reluctant person who is never in the open, who uses kind of this diffusion tactic to never be seen, never be talked about.
You have no rulers in Paridar.
We have nobles, but who knows whether those nobles who don't remember their own history as well, whether they will serve someone else. They wouldn't even realize.
The Sunslayer is a pactor, a shadowbinder, much like Golag, as is his sister, Golag's mother. They themselves are servants of a greater power, so though he claims to be a king here, in truth, he still is a servant to a greater power.
Maybe it's the same, or maybe it is someone, I don't know, connected to the power that is behind Paridar. I don't know.
The Sunslayer has no further power over the obelisks either.
But somehow he had power over the sun, or his master had power over the sun.
Indeed. The god death was caused by them, though so long ago, none living have memory of it. Curious.
Yeah, I was once tempted to get more information, but it would have cost me maybe myself, my being me. So I refused.
He's studying you, trying to parse your words. You mean a bargain?
Yeah, some entity I deem as powerful as the Master of the White Blossoms wanted me to serve her, but I declined. And I'm not sure how she will take it. And I'm not sure whether she can reach me here.
It is difficult to resist, to refuse an offer of such power. I understand and sympathize, but most curious, do you think perhaps these obelisks, your spires, they somehow relate to how you came here?
I'm not sure, actually. There was some. We know that we have this obsidian roses that are important for this travel, but the rest, I'm no spellcaster. I don't know about these things in more detail.
The obsidian roses. You mentioned they were fabricated. Were they fabricated of stone?
I honestly never had one, so I don't know. So Golag might know.
Golag, yep.
Yeah.
And they were black in color as well?
Yeah, you mean they were maybe done from the same material as the spires?
If your land has white obelisks and the black stones brought you here, perhaps it is white stones you require to return to your land.
That is a possibility, yes. Actually, I think the Sunslayer would know, but I'm not sure whether I want to ask him.
I'm not certain you would appreciate his answer.
Yes.
Nor would he, nods in Golag's direction, welcome his nephew if how he treated his sister is anything to judge from.
I'm not sure. I think I don't know. So as far as I understand, the two of them are almost immortal, or at least they live so long that we don't know whether they will die at one day.
They have outlived as many generations as I can recall.
Yeah. But maybe still he's one of them. So I don't know.
One of what?
One of their family, one of their kind, closely related. And if I understand correctly, they see themselves as, I don't know, the pinnacle of nobility here. And those folks sometimes have the tendency to value blood over everything else. As much hatred and war might be going on between them.
The Shadowbinders do make use of blood sorcery. But anything else you guys wish to discuss?
Do you think that any in the village will be particularly hostile, like the most hostile to us, me?
Hostile to you, as
anyone in particular that we should be like keeping an eye open that they may. I'm just. There may not be anyone, but that would take matters into their own hands, or that would have a very particularly hostile reaction to my markings, or does that exist in the village, would you think?
Well, as I said before, there are many, if you make yourself known as a Shadowbinder, there are many who may question why an unaligned Shadowbinder travels freely. You may be seen as a renegade, you may be seen as an agent of the Sunslayer. Less likely, they will see you as your mother's agent, but there are those, the folk of the Black Tower, they are good, but they are desperate, and there are those who would take advantage. There are many who would seek favor, though we are far from the reach of the Sunslayer. The Fortress of the Dark Sun is not far, and those who occupy there, they are agents of the Sunslayer, and there may be some who may see value in capturing you and delivering you on the mistaken understanding that you are a renegade, hiding. But no, there are none near our lands. We are troubled by, as is common in the Hellforge Desert, there are those who prey on those who would travel the vast distances, and those who would travel. We have two such difficulties. There are the Scorchface Horde and the Harrow Mob. Both have an understanding and arrangement of some kind for safe passage with the Skitterfolk. And the Skitterfolk caravans travel here, but we have had times when the folk of the Black Tower have come to blows with both. The practice of biomancy is not uncommon in our community, nor in this region. but we practice cultivation of such crafts. The Harrow mob takes no such precautions and will happily steal parts of you for resale. The Scorchface Horde will simply enslave you and sell you. Both can be negotiated with in good times, but in bad, or when they are at odds with one another. The reason I caution you against revealing your identity is because I don't know in truth whether all of the folk of the Black Tower can be trusted to resist the temptation of turning someone like you in. A Shadowbinder is either of the Sunslayer or opposed to the Sunslayer. And soon, if they realize that you are not of them, that temptation may be too great. However, I intend to, subject to your approval, I intend to be truthful in that capacity to the Reeve. If it was discovered at a later point that you were a Shadowbinder, it would reflect badly on both of us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think that's reasonable. It's kind of inescapable.
Does that answer your question then?
Yeah. Yep.
There is one of the scaly folk, Ishirzo, who is our master biomancer. Adam, I will be happy to introduce you to her.
Yes, I would certainly be very interested to speak to her.
Good. And if you are, Basil, you do not practice magic of any kind.
Nope. I have certain abilities, one could say, are somewhat magical, but I don't know any spells or something like that.
You do the,
Yeah, and this one, but also the one where I turn into a rat now. So that's I can shift my form a little bit.
If you are capable of, where do you intend to go then? If you intend to return, do you seek to hire on with one of the Skitterfolk caravans? They typically do not take those not of your kind among them. They trade, don't transport.
I don't know yet. I owe loyalty to my friends, and I want to go back with them. Although this city is, in another way, very unfree, it is the kind of unfreeness we are used to. So the cloudness of the mind seems to be something you get used to by the time. So I don't really know what our next thing is. I think we will try to find out how to go back, and I don't know what we have to do for that. But I know that my folk might know something about it, because somehow it seems clear to me that the Isoki from this world, the Skitterfolk as you call them, are very curious as well. Let me put it this way.
I have had dealings with your kind, and I would agree that they are most inquisitive. If it is knowledge, I would not be the best to provide an introduction, but there is an ancient order that is centered in the Black Tower, the Cabal of the Inscribed Word, and the High Speaker, Vothug. He and his kind are very well read, as much as we can be, and I know Vothug has connections to the Cabal within Shadowspire City.
Interesting. Because this might be a weird thing to admit right now, but in my world, there's an Isoki who knows a lot, and he's a little bit more powerful than normally Isoki are. And I wonder if he's from this world as well.
What do you mean more powerful?
He has connections, and he was very interested in the situation with Golak's abductor. So maybe his motivation was not only the interest of knowing information and trading in information, but maybe he was more involved in it. I don't know. Makes me wonder.
If the Yusaki are the Skitterfolk are common in your realm, then they are common in our realm as well. All the species that have been described, except for the orcs are obviously found in Paridar as well, but many of these others, Minotaurs, Centaurs, Jotun, Surki, Tengu, Kalo, and Tripki, those aren't found in Paridar.
Yeah. Very, very interesting. I don't really know. I think there's a connection we need to explore and find out, and maybe it is somehow our mission to find that connection.
If you are seeking knowledge, the Cabal of the Inscribed Word.
Yeah, I will try to find them or talk to them.
I think, if not willing to introduce yourself, or Zul, our Reeve, could provide an introduction.
Oh, okay.
What you can maybe pick up from him too, it's clear that he's been very helpful to introduce you to everybody thus far. Suddenly this person is someone he's not eager to volunteer to introduce you to. So
yeah, okay.
there's got to be, you can pick up that there's, there's perhaps something more there than what he's openly talking about. But anything further you want to direct the conversation to around the campfire?
No, I mean, listening to what they were talking about, I think Adam's still got a theory. I think he mentioned before that this place is maybe like a portal. People come from other places to here, but they can't go the other way. It seems strange that there's all these different creatures and races here. And maybe it's a one-way sort of gate or portal, similar to how we got here. Maybe they can't get back, and that's why they've got all these different races, and they've grown to make their homes here. But it's only a loose theory.
So how would the fact that while there are Azurketi in Paridar, there are none like Sally there. She is unique.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying you couldn't get to Paridar through other sources. But they did talk. I mean, this. I've forgotten the bad guy's name now. The orc bad guy, but he talked about, maybe going to Sally's world.
Yeah.
As if it could be a new location that they made contact with.
Yeah.
And then brought more of Sally's people maybe here, or they went to there, or whichever way around. But
what you know is that Sally's folk, although there's yet to meet anyone, the Minotaurs that you met and Zabu, neither of them have ever heard of anything like Sally. The closest are those I want to say Algothu. No, that's something different. The Adamaru and the Merfolk.
Yeah, it was just that he mentioned, that may be the next place we want to go to, as if it was something that was within their power to reach out to other lands. And
he did.
Yeah. So that's what makes Adam think this is some sort of almost like a Stargate, almost, sort of thing where they teleport to different places. But he's the only one that knows how to sort of come and go readily. But there must be other folks that can do a similar spell or ritual or whatever they call it.
I wonder if Sally's world also has spires like ours.
Well, it makes me think that Sally somehow came a more sort of traditional way. Potentially on a boat or, some sort of more traditional way.
Her story thus far, she was caught in like a net by Captain Hunter, I believe. Sorry, Ingolf, I interrupted you.
Yeah, I was just thinking that she basically was somehow came up on a boat, but she did not travel by boat. She was fished out of the sea.
Yeah,
so,
maybe.
But we don't know what, and she doesn't even know what happened before, so...
No, not now anyway.
No, I think the only person we know who seems to know a bit or is not under the influence of the mind altering going on in Paridar seems to be that Großmutter, as you would call her, the witch queen or whatever she is. I don't know, that hag. She might know something, but I don't know whether it is worth to give me to herself, just in order to know.
Would you even class her as being in Paridar? I mean, she's almost like in another dimension, it feels like. She only contacts you through your dreams, and I don't know.
I think it is true that we were in war, in kind of a war with her folks. So I think that is really a fact, but I don't know more than that.
Okay.
So somehow there must be a way to get into Paridar for her. Otherwise the war would make no sense. And I remember that we were driving outside, far outside of Paridar, fighting in some kind of tundra, something like.
I mean, what Basil's told us, it feels more like she's sort of trapped and she can't get into Paridar. Almost like you've got to give her permission, like she's been...
I don't think... I mean, she can't go physically into Paridar. I might agree, but I think it's, for someone of her power, it's not necessary to be there physically.
Yeah, I just wondered if that was part of the war, the result of the war.
It might be that there was some kind of...
She can't, get free.
Truth or bargain or something.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, I guess these thoughts will come across us now we've had a bit of time to sit down and sort of actually think a little bit.
Yeah, I mean,
common.
Right now, Basil's position is that he wants to go back, but thinking about it, maybe it is better to be here and have control of your own thoughts.
Have we? I mean, we've only been here, what, 3 or 4 days? Is it?
Yeah, you mean we
any
could use...
memories?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it wouldn't affect me because, as far as I'm concerned, I was created in Paridar and sort of always been in Paridar. But the others, have they got any sort of sense of memories coming back from the past that may have been foggy before? Was it too early, or was that not a thing?
Golag did have that dream. He was in a coma, remember, for the first couple of days after you guys arrived here. He had that fight, then he immediately kind of, passed out.
Mm-hmm.
You may say, Kev, that's because Sean was visiting his mom. And I'll say, well, yeah, but I mean, I'll take an opportunity to impose a story focus explanation for that if I can.
Yeah, so maybe it's coming back. I don't know.
Yeah, it's
Well,
worth.
do you think so? Here's one curious thing. You did have that other dream, right, where you were in the blackness, but what haven't you dreamed about since coming here?
What I dreamed about.
What did you dream about more recently?
Most recently, while here in the new realm.
Not here, but in Paridar, what were your dreams haunted by?
I mean, it was about being prince.
Taking the throne and such, wasn't it?
I mean, my rightful place. Is that what we're talking about?
Well,
You have not had any such dreams since coming here. I mean, they have been replaced by something very different, that whatever it is that's, growling in the darkness, but you haven't had those same, top of the ziggurat, splitting the sky open dreams at all.
Yeah, they've only been the sky, if that, right? For that matter. It's just
blackness.
kind of...
Yeah, just utter blackness.
The creature up top rather than the whole...
Yeah, and there's never been a situation where you've been unable to awaken either. Like, those have been dreams the way that any other dream, they come to you in your, unconscious nocturnal slumber. This was when you arrived here, there was a period where you were comatose.
Mm-hmm.
So while, if you're listening to the conversation about memories, you may think, it may dawn on you that, well, like, you haven't had, your dreams have been substantially different since coming here, in the sense that you're not dreaming about what you did before, and you experienced a period of imposed meditation, I guess would be a generous way of putting it, that resulted in a vision unlike anything you've seen before. Do you make anything of that, Golag?
Not really enough information. I mean, it seemed like those dreams were connected to Vista King's art before. So I think the notion was it probably was coming from that same source, probably. Not knowing, but it resembled, in fact, maybe identical to her artwork. So now, now it's coming from the creature. It's a little too speculative, but maybe, maybe the creature in the sky. But I don't know if anyone has anything else. You can, if anyone else thinks there's enough information to make more of a analysis, but that's kind of what so anyone else think it's more determinative, more suggestive? No?
I think Adam would just suggest that Basil and Golag just try and remember anything from their past as the days go on. Just sort of take notice if they remember anything that might help us in our current situation.
Yeah, and given that Basil shares that he feels potentially different about being unable to remember how he got to Paridar than he did. Make any mention of that, I think, is curious for all of us to be wondering what veils are being lifted that exist in Paridar that don't exist here. That's an obvious one. And I have all sorts of secrets for myself that are obvious, that are along the lines of what you're saying, Dr. Hirschberg. But yeah, all of us, like, how did any of us get to Paridar, for that matter? And maybe your creation, Doctor, has, there's secrets there too. So maybe they get lifted. I mean, it's not as obvious as mine because I'm from here apparently, but still, there may be. Paridar seems to have some memory veils that are complex, and who knows what they've affected as far as our own past. So everyone should be. I agree that seems like a good activity for me especially, but everyone. Indeed. Yeah, you got anything, Basil, on the difference in my dreams?
No, the only thing I would say is I don't know. I think you're in a way you disappeared from the radar in loss of a better word, from both your mother and your uncle.
Uh-huh.
So they don't know where you are, or I don't know how exactly they have to know where you are to reach you. And I think that's the thing. And that was what your father promised, that we would go somewhere where they don't know where you are.
And that describes Paridar too. Probably why I was stashed, if you will, in Paridar. That they lost track. That I lost track. They lost track. Yeah. Everybody lost track, but Father, if you will, perhaps. He's in Paridar. I'm curious of how much Dak remembers. I mean, how much it affected him. I mean, the effect of Paridar seems so powerful that even though my father is a pretty peculiar individual in powerful ways. I mean, I hard to imagine he's the great exception of Paridar's veils, but it still would be curious to know how much he knows and remembers and give it versus Golak.
But the other thing is maybe he documented some of it before he lost his memories. But I guess you wouldn't necessarily document it if you don't think you're gonna lose your memories and then it's too late. But I don't know. Maybe. But
he is. To your point, he is the kind of person. If anyone's going to do that, my father would be a candidate. Like, of knowing what he's getting into, like that. It seems purposeful that I was stashed, perhaps in Paridar on purpose. It's a theory, but it seems. And if that's the case, if you know why you're stashing me in Paridar, then you know the effect Paridar has. You probably know the effect. I mean, this is all theory here, and so therefore, I think Dak's the guy. Dak is the one that would, if any of this makes sense, Dak is an excellent candidate for doing just that, which you're suggesting, Dr. Ersbrun, which is to take some precautions that he doesn't lose all cognitive knowledge of what's going on. He just suddenly becomes like the rest of us and stumbles through life in Paridar, not realizing this bigger picture that he was so much a part of. And just suddenly kind of goes, oh, I guess that's all gone. Like, he's just not the guy to do that. If he had any ability to prevent it at all, he's the guy. He is the top of the list, probably. So who knows? But he's a good candidate for writing it down, of doing something. Whatever he can do, he would have done it, I would think. But good, yeah, it's good fodder. I don't know.
If I might add a further wrinkle here, too. How did Golag then learn your shadow binding? Assuming you didn't learn it as an infant, because it is a pact that you've entered. How'd you learn your shadow binding, if not by being sent back here?
Yeah, which requires someone to have managed it.
And then returned you to Paridar as well.
Yeah, that would seem... I mean, it's either the only two candidates on our radar screen. I mean, obviously there's always a case of a wild card that we have absolutely no idea about yet, but it's either my mother or my father. So it's one or the other or both. So that's what we got. It's a short list, and they're on the list. Again,
Your father's not got any of that power, has he? He's not a shadow caster or anything, is he? No.
There's one other person who may have some insight too, though unfortunately he is a world away, and that is, of course, your mother's lover, James Harker.
What happened to him again?
Knowing now the circumstances of the world here, like what do you think of that fella?
And what happened to him? Remind me. He was captured, and then what happened? He
was not brought through with the rest of you.
But he was alive, and then we were taken here, and that's all we know. Okay.
That's all you know, correct.
How did he get here? Like, well, yeah, what was his origins, and did my mom and him meet in a bar, or how did that...
So for his origins, do you remember what he had said?
I kind of don't. Does anyone else remember?
He's not from Paridar originally. He's from another place.
Oh, yeah.
Parker.
But he wasn't from the Aucklands either, was he?
No. He found himself in the Aucklands.
Yeah.
That's what he said.
Against his will, is that right? In essence.
Indeed. And then he fought alongside, he said, your mother against your uncle. He's the one who, from whom you learned that the Sunslayer was your uncle. And then he arrived in Paridar, and then promptly Paridar did what it did, and he forgot until he was attacked by agents of the Sunslayer, and then he remembered.
He said he was from Coalpunk.
That's right.
In does anyone remember more about Coalpunk than I do? Which would be easy. What is
He had very little to say about it. It was similar in his mind to Paridar, but different in ways as well. Although he did mention that there were spires in Coalpunk as well.
Did he mention the color? No.
I don't think he did.
No. Damn it, yeah. We didn't ask him.
I mean, you'd think he'd have mentioned it, not for sure, but it's pretty notable considering how powerful these are. I would say the chances are better than average that he would have mentioned it. Not for sure, but you know. So if he didn't mention it,
to bake into your setting a reason for the players forgetting stuff. It's like maybe it's an effect of Paridar. Well, you can't remember what he said.
I'm not sure we'd put the connection together, or he hadn't put the connection, so he didn't bring it up as a major thing at the time. Maybe.
Although, I mean, he knew more than we did and earlier than we did. We were still very fresh, and he was years into, you know, he was way more informed than we were. I mean, he forgot it, but by the time it came back to him, he had like a book of knowledge that we lacked. You know, the whole, so he was way ahead of us on all that. So you'd think, you know, the colors of the roses would be big. Maybe not, but, you know, there's a fair chance that he would have mentioned it. Which suggests they're not different colors, but undetermined. And I'm trying to remember did we determine that the undead that dug themselves out of the grave, they were looking for the roses? What did we determine their purpose was? As we go back through this information, I'm reminded what I've forgotten.
The connection was there was 7 of them, and there were 7. What were they called? The
Stages of Sorrow.
Stages of Sorrow. So
they were called the 7 Ages of Sorrow.
No, the 7 Ages of Sorrow were well, Sally was contacted by one of them trying to free the last Sage of Sorrow, because I assume 6 of them were free and one was trapped by the medical, well, not the medical, but you know, something to do with the military guys, the medical corps. so it's almost like they needed 7 bodies to put them into, or like vessels or something. It was just, we just put the connection together because there were 7 of them and 7 bodies that sort of rose up.
The 7 Sages of Sorrow were said to be the herald of the Grudge Butcher.
Yeah, we don't know the Grudge Butcher though, do we?
I think we don't want to know him.
No.
I think Sally was able to shine light on that a little bit, that it was a legendarily apocalypse-bringing beast.
Yeah. So yeah, we was hoping that the 7th one would never be freed and was locked away pretty securely somewhere. But I think that was the connection with the bodies that we sort of loosely made.
Yeah, and before you guys were captured here, you actually followed up with Dr. Green about that. One of you did.
Mm-hmm.
And so who is the 7 undead being controlled by then?
He's still under the control of the 9th Medical Corps, or the Ministry of...
No, what Sean, I think, is asking was who the 7 undead that tracked to the 7 Sages of Sorrow.
They were by Dergosh.
Yeah.
So he needed the vessels for the 7 Ages of Sorrow. He was the one trying
Sages, yes.
Sages of Sorrow.
I think, I mean, this is very loose, but all your dreams about some big old thing coming out of the sky is, if they get the 7 Sages of Sorrow together, that's potentially what's going to happen. And so Dargosh was trying to get them, bring them back here, complete whatever ritual, horrible thing they were trying to do. And yeah,
And did I ever get an impression, Kevin, during my dreams that the creature was hostile towards me, or that what did I get any sense of, as I was taking my rightful place on the throne, that it was that it had a feeling about that? Or
so there was never a vision of you on a throne. There was a vision of you at an altar.
Oh, Golag must have added the throne, but
I have a feeling. Also, he's very handsome and dressed nicely.
Yeah, ripped. I would also add, but anyway, yeah. I digress. But
climbing 16 walls at once. It was amazing.
Indeed. So, did I get any sense of its?
I think the impression you would have got is both from, if they are the same creature, the blackened tendrils that broke through the sky, and the voice you heard in the utter black that you found yourself in while in your coma. Both of those were awe-inspiring in the religious sense of the word. Something that causes you to feel small and hollow and scared. But not necessarily because it is threatening you, but because of the scale and scope of its power. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, so I mean, so I don't have a really distinct, like it was coming to grab me, or it hated me, or it needed me, or any of those. You
did seem central to that sacrifice, and it did seem, from what you recall, there were beings that were bound to various obsidian portals or obsidian spires that were located on the ziggurat. And you remember those things in your vision, they were species not found in Paridar. There were minotaurs among them. There were bug folk among them. There were lizard folk among them, very different from the kobolds that you encounter in Paridar.
What is my thinking? How certain is Golag that if Golag contained a Sage of Sorrow, that Golag would know about it?
So the Sages of Sorrow. Well, what do you guys remember about that? This is an adventure going back 4 years, and then you haven't really encountered anything further.
I mean, the only thing we remember is that they kind of transformed a bunch of sailors.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And we tried to capture one of them, but he basically got away. And I think we delayed something, but that's all we managed to do
that
there.
mystery featured Captain Hunter. Apparently, they traveled to some unknown, uncharted island, stole some stuff, came back, and then slowly 7 members of the crew were physically transformed, with the exception of one that sold it or pawned it somehow. But then you guys found in mid-transformation the person who had purchased that stuff, and that's the person who was... that's when you first met Dr. Green. And she seized him and the whatever object it was that transformed him. So as far as if those 7 transformed sailors are indicative of what being a Sage of Sorrow represents, you've seen no physical transformation yourself, Golag.
Of me.
Yeah. There also is that whole legend of the 7 Sages of Sorrow and the Grudge Butcher. That is something that Sally remembered, not a custom or a like folkloric part of Paridar maritime lore. It's something foreign to Paridar. So, of course, so are the orcs.
Because I'm struck by, depending on how much, putting a fair amount of weight on the dream, but I'm struck by that if the purpose of Golag was sacrifice, in fact, probably ritual sacrifice, it's not knocking him off. Like, it's not just killing him because he's a prince. It's not, that's a long way. All that altar and the whole 9 yards and the creature coming down, that's a long way from simply an assassin trying to take out a rivaling prince, which is a completely different thing. So what is the purpose of this ritual sacrifice of Golag, which is why I'm hence the question of would Golag know that I was containing a sage? But I don't think so. But anyway.
Why Durgosh could have easily killed you when he had you.
Right.
Instead, he went to great lengths to bring you here.
Mm-hmm. Why should Golag now contain a sage? I mean, I don't know.
Well, because, I mean, if these sages are to bring on destruction and Durgosh wanted this to happen, which is hence my question of who controlled the undead. Who was it that was trying to assemble the 7 sages? Who needed the vessels to contain those 7 sages? Oh, it was Durgosh. Okay, check. Same guy that kidnapped us. Same guy that's bringing us to this other realm. What is the purpose of Golag? According to the dream, it's sacrifice. So where does this sacrifice fit in Durgosh's, I guess, hence his desire to bring on this destruction?
Remember, in your dream, you're the one leading the sacrifice. You were not being sacrificed yourself.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
That's where there was you had robes, you had people around you
I look
who were
good.
venerating you. You had people in the far below in the ziggurat that were calling out your name.
Gotcha. Okay. I was off there. Okay, fair enough. And what was I sacrificing again? There were people chained.
A living being in the center, and then there were those chained to the obelisks, and the sky was shattering and blackened tendrils were coming down.
Who was the living being in the center on the altar? Do I know?
It was an orc.
It was an orc, and I didn't recognize.
Didn't recognize him. You haven't met him yet.
I see. Huh.
Yeah. So that I mean, I don't think that we found out that Durgosh wanted to get back into the favor of the Sunslayer. In a way, he had fallen out of his favor, and his approach was to get you and some kind of weapon back. So at least that was what I got from all of this. So, and as he couldn't get the these 7 Sages of Sorrow, he decided to at least bring Sally back in order to have some kind of new ally, which might help to destroy the alliance of the Witch Queen and the whatever the folks under the sea are called here. So
The Adamaru.
I think that was about something we got at least the intention of. And I don't really know why we were coming other than for narrative reasons. I mean, it makes sense.
For weapons.
Oh, weapons, yeah. So they could, yeah.
You were brought as weapons in the fight against the Queen or something?
No, it's potential other. Paridar has a wide variety of weapons not seen in this thing. That's at least what Durgosh said. We had asked Dr. Ursprung if he was a creation of as a weapon or either as a creature of war. And so I can't remember precisely what his answer was, but he took it as being like, oh, okay, here's someone else who can bring us more weapons. So if you are sent on an errand to collect something that the boss really wants and you don't get that, perhaps it's best to come back with as many goodies as you can that might interest him, including the son of your rival, a potential indirect way to gain access to the Grudge Butcher, and a architect of many weapons of war in this strange new land. You also get a free Yasakian for the deal. It's part of the little coupon that you.
Yeah. So I mean, we have this weird weapon called a tulpa, where everything is just changed and you don't know it. I mean, that is the ultimate weapon in a way.
Yeah, it's a shame you guys broke the tulpa machine.
Yeah, but did we? We wouldn't know.
You wouldn't know? No. So we're well past our mid-session break right now. Why don't we take that right now? And then we'll come back in 5 minutes and we'll carry on to see if there's anything else you wish to ask of Zabub or things you want to sort out in your understanding. So for those listening at home, we'll be back in about 5 minutes. Okay. Hey, everyone at home. You guys are having a great Sunday thus far. Oh boy, session's just fucking flying by. Oh, everyone can get a hero point as well. I'll put it in chat just for the guys who are away. Can. Hero point 2. All right. Oh, we're just waiting for Ingolf. You can take a hero point as well, Dr. Ersprung. For the good it'll do you.
We'll see about that.
All right. So while we're waiting for Basil to return, Dr. Ersprung and Goleg, any thoughts? Anything else you need to play over, or any insight you have on what you learned about these various places?
There's a lot of theories, to be honest. There's not really a lot of concrete evidence on anything. So I think we've got to take it as we find it and react to what we find and press on. But the driving factor for Adam is to get back to Paridar, really. I mean, it could be tomorrow that we find out, you know, this place is doomed, and with it, that's going to have a massive impact on Paridar and everywhere else, and that might change, you know, his outlook. But at the moment, it's, yeah, get back to Paridar. Because we're not meant to be here. Or we didn't.
So the good doctor's not trying to put Golag on a throne? Is that what I'm hearing?
It's not his priority, I'll be honest. It's not. That's like
fair.
number one.
Fair. It's down the list. It's farther down.
It's on the list, but it's
understood.
Pretty low.
Yeah. Fair enough.
But
what does Golag want?
Guess to figure out what's going on. I mean, definitely wants to get back, but it seems like you know, he's so tied up with all of this. You know, how can he be here and not meet his mother, kind of thing? It seems inevitable. I mean, we might need to just to get back, you know, for that matter. I mean, there could be multiple purposes to this. But it seems like since we're here, we need to figure out more about this Sage's situation. You know, if it would be strange if we endeavored at great length to get back to Paridar, only to learn that we needed to get back to this world to fix XYZ. Because Paradar's screwed. I mean, that'd be ironic. We're like, oh, great. Like, we got to go back now, you know.
MMO class adventure design.
Right. Yeah, right.
How can I maximize your time playing this fucking adventure?
So we have to go through a year of real time getting home to figure out we got to come back would be ironic, you know. So we really have to figure out what's going on to know what we need to do here, because we really don't know.
So
we don't really have a very.
Let me ask you this. This is maybe more existential than is necessary, but what do you mean by need?
I think we need to find out what's going to, as Dr. Ersprung mentioned, specifically, it seems like things could very well affect Paridar, not 100%, because again, we're dealing in a lot more theories than fact, but also affect Golag for that matter. I mean, you know, he's got a vested interest. Golag has a vested interest in what happens to Golag. So, oh yeah, my rightful place on the Paridar throne. There you go. That's a new take. Yeah, we just got to figure out what's going on. Really, we don't have enough information to even make decisions at this point. I mean, that's why, I mean, the idea of going back to Paridar is such a natural, because obviously we were taken against our will, and that's where we're from. And so that kind of dominates. But for one reason that dominates is because we really don't have enough information about everything else. So we've really got to figure out, we have a lot more information to gather.
And Basil, what does Basil want?
Oh, he doesn't really know right now. I think he wants to protect everyone around him, and he wants especially to protect Golek, mostly from himself, it seems. I don't know. He's very loyal in the sense that he thinks he needs to work to keep everyone here safe, but I think that's about it. He has no means to achieve power or something like that. And he thinks that it's unrealistic that they will change the world here. So I don't know. The only thing I'm curious now is because of my own fondness of conspiracy theories is what Henri Ducas is all about now. So maybe there is something like a pan-dimensional whisker network. I mean, it doesn't exist in one dimension even, but maybe. I mean, that was, in truth, we are controlled by the rats. I mean, wouldn't that be a story? Come on.
So then, anything else you guys discussing this evening with Zaboob? Any questions for him? Or directions you want to bring the conversation?
I did, yeah.
Has he ever heard of the Sages of Sorrow?
He's not come across that, no.
Okay.
Is that something native to your land?
It's part of the mystery that we're trying to unravel here of why Durgash came to our land, to our realm. What was his purposes? Because we have a lot of theories, Zaboob, but they're theories, and
What was your understanding of the Sages of Sorrow? Why would he be seeking them?
That they are harbingers of, and Dr. Basil, correct me if I'm wrong, but they are harbingers of doom, of some kind of doom by a alleged, I don't even know what to call him, but this of the grudge butcher, of a so-called grudge butcher, of which, what are we even calling this so-called grudge butcher, Basil, Dr. Ursprung? We think of him as a what?
The legend of Sally's people.
Okay.
Go ahead, Inkel.
Yeah, I think we have this word Leviathan, like this enormous thing that lives in the ocean, able to, I don't know, destroy an island or something like that, maybe.
Yeah.
Some creature like that.
And this Durgash, like, why exactly did he come to Paridar? And one could say, we thought me, perhaps, but also probably the Sages of Sorrow, and I was a consolation prize, would you say,
Yes.
Basil?
Yes.
So, I mean, did he...
yeah, it might hurt you, but I think yes.
Well, but does it make sense that he would come to Paridar unless he didn't know I was there, which seems, who knows? But if he knew his nephew, apparently his nephew, and a possible claim on something here in this realm, but he had no interest in me, doesn't seem to make sense. I mean, I'm just...
Unless...
So your mother has basically exiled herself to a part of the world he can't reach, at least with his powers. So he wants to have this magical ocean beast that is probably capable of just destroying her wherever she is within the ocean. I think that was the idea, the perfect war machine for the ocean. So, and now basically that guy has failed, Durgosh, and I'm not even sure whether your uncle wants you back in this thing. Maybe he didn't know, maybe he did know you were in Paridar, but it would do him no good.
Meaning that Durgosh didn't want me in this realm, even though he kidnapped me here?
No, Durgosh wanted to bring you to his master because he thought that is something to please his master.
But the Sunslayer doesn't want me here.
Yeah.
And so Durgosh screwed up.
Maybe. We don't know. We have never talked to the Sunslayer. But we don't know whether he's... I think if you would ally with him, if you would betray your mother, whatever that means, he would be happy to have you on his side. But unless you do, I think it's more or less without consequence because you're not powerful enough to disturb him, I'd say.
I suppose. Go ahead. What's that, Dr. Strong?
Well, I was just going to say, I would have thought he'd see you as an ally of your mother, because your family, he thinks he's probably you're more of a threat at the current time, but how much of a threat, like Basil says, I don't know, but he probably thinks you would ally with her rather than him.
I mean, in any time, it's hard for me to believe that, just what I said, that if you learn about a potential rival claim of any kind, and just the notion that that if he thought I was particularly weak, it's a good time to wrap up loose ends, if nothing else, and take out the rival prince or whatever I'd be. But the notion of to
it's
ignore
said
it.
That the conflict between when the alliance between the twin tyrants broke down, it's said that it shattered the very land. If this grudge butcher is, as you say, aquatic monstrosity, there would be nowhere for the deep sorceress or the witch queen to run.
Other than maybe Paridar.
If they could reach there, would they not have gone?
I guess. I mean, right now, she might be a bigger... I mean, with her being a rival back home, do they really want to go conquering other realms? I don't know. I don't know what the answer to that is. But until they completely solidify power here, which clearly they have not, I mean, with her existence, they perhaps would not want to separate their forces into different realms, is a theory that I'll put out there. But, well, as you can tell, Zaboob, we have a lot of theory and lack much in facts. We're just striving to connect loose ends, and it ends up in conversations like this. So,
well, if Durgosh blindly came here, I take it he did not intend to go to the lands of the Circe.
No.
No, that's one thing we were able to affect, despite having been defeated in Paridar.
So either he is dead and has been taken by the Circe, or he has more likely been captured by the Circe and is held by them. One as powerful as one of the when you fled where you had arrived, were you pursued by them, the Circe?
Well, we can't really tell because we were attacked by maybe a patrol of them, but no, it seems not to be the same guys who fought us in the first place.
Well, it was. Remember, you guys saw the I think it was Basil who saw the flying creature full of them.
So then we were actually followed. Yeah, I didn't know that I recognized it being the same beings.
Well, this was similar to because these creatures were on.
Yeah. But I was just thinking that this might be different of these circi, not the very same we fought before.
No, they are not the. I mean, they may not be the same individual, but it could very well have been. I have no. If it's the same region, their hives do not overlap. Particularly those of the deep circi are particularly aggressive in defense of their territories. It's why both the land of the Minotaur and sorry, Anna came to say hi. I wanted to make sure she wasn't. Did you hear your name? Hi, sweetie. Let's say hi. We heard you already. Good girl. They say that if they were using their flying beast to pursue you, they were hunting for you, which means they either knew you had another potential servant of the Sunslayer among them, or they were told what you were.
It could be, could be. But there's one other thing that we haven't discussed, and just to make the discussion around in a bit. So, Golek, your mother tried to contact you, and I think
What's your basis for believing that?
It is this claim your throne. I mean, would it be? I think we found that it was. At least someone related to his mother or in similar vein or something like that.
It's a theory.
What did you? Yeah, do you have any? Did you learn anything that would suggest that, or is that just a extra?
Yeah, I think
inference?
It was more like who would want to see Golek as someone on the throne other than his mother, maybe.
Yeah, it was our best
uncle.
The Vesta King, if I recall correctly, like, okay, where's this coming from? And we figured, best guess, it's my mom, that she was trying to reach me through King, but I don't recall, we don't have, once again, we don't really have any hard facts. It's just our best.
Yeah, okay, so it might have been also your uncle. That could be true.
Yeah.
But why would he? In order to lure your mother out?
Zabut leans in and says, while they call themselves kings, queens, sun slayers, recall, Basil, power here is most often achieved through a pact. They call themselves king, queen. They are but servants of the power they serve.
Oh, that would be interesting.
Well, the creature in the sky is almost, I mean, once again, it's all theories, but it certainly doesn't seem to be the Sunslayer. I don't think.
Okay, so you think even it's the higher up, because the ones he gave the power to, they have failed him, and now you are the next in his plan. That would be interesting.
Whatever creature or being that they serve, the shadow, it did not rob either of the twin tyrants of their power when they split, suggesting either it was permitting them to continue on with the vast power they achieved, or it was unable to retrieve it from them.
And more theory that my powers come from the same. I don't really know who they come from, so that's not necessarily true. But we can theorize again that mine come from the same power as they do.
Did you share with him your dreams? Like when you were talking to the other guys around the campfire, did you share with him anything about the change in your dreams?
Yeah, it probably comes up now.
It is. Mm-hmm. I am not certain if it is the same in your lands, but those who, with the god death, there are limited ways that one can achieve greater power. One of those is by binding oneself to greater entities in a metaphysical manner. Unless one is of extraordinary power, it is rare that you would ever hear and feel the presence of those things unless in the most abstract manner. I cannot say I have met many Shadowbinders, nor would I trust what they say. But it is exceptionally rare for the Pactors of any sort to hear or speak to their patron unless overwhelmingly favored by them. Go like.
And so I suppose we'd have to, we were thinking it was my mother that was trying to contact me through Vesta King, but it could be maybe the top slot is overtaken by this creature in the sky, or at least it shares the likelihood. My mother or this creature.
Whatever in the shadow grants them their timeless power, it is something separate and apart and above both of them.
Very interesting. Yeah, maybe you have to become king after all, Golek.
Of everything? What are we speaking of?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe start with this world and then go on to the next. I mean, come on.
He doesn't want to be king of the cul-de-sac. He wants to make sure he's got a very, whatever kind of kingdom he's getting. Is...
I just want to understand the scope of the comment. That's all. I'm just trying to.
No, I mean, I don't really know. So if I understood correctly, Sabu, then this is something like there were once some kind of gods or beings, godlike beings here, but they are gone now, or they don't mingle anymore in the affairs of mortals.
Whether the death of the gods came with the veiling of the sun, or the veiling of the sun caused their silence and death, it's unknown, but the prayers of the devoted went unresponded to with the veiling of the sun.
And we don't know whether the Spires were there before.
We do not. We do. The Spires came... The Spires, or rather the veiling of the sun, was affected by the twin tyrants. But even they do not predate the Spires. The Spires are
old, much older.
Eternal.
Yes. So I think I don't know if those twin tyrants were so powerful, or their master was so powerful to really slay the gods. I just don't believe it. I think they were driven away, or they went away and left the world like it is. That I could believe. It may be an effect of the veiling, but killing a god seems to be something that is so beyond. I don't know. Only a god will.
I think probably our top theory is that probably the creature is who was trying to call me through Vesta King. Mm-hmm. It's a pretty strong possibility, and that becomes curious as one recalls my last visit with her in the back, with her opening of her face.
Yeah.
And her saying something like, "Do you hear it?" Something along those lines. And I didn't really hear anything, Kevin. What did I hear?
I think you heard anything.
And then she said, "Oh, you're not ready," since I wasn't hearing something.
Yeah.
So it's worth remembering that. That's a clue of some kind, although I have no idea exactly what. And we assumed at the time, pretty strongly, but it was a theory, that it was my mother.
Yes.
And so now I think this creature becomes, it still could be my mother. It's not like it's ruled out, but the creature is probably a stronger, it's right there. It's at least maybe a stronger candidate or an equal candidate, somewhere in there.
So do you want to contact that creature? Can you maybe reach it in your dreams?
I mean, sure, I think. We didn't really discuss that because that would have been fine in Paridar for that matter. I mean, I was trying to contact it through Vesta King in a sense.
The Shadowbinders, this is Zaboob speaking, the Shadowbinders draw on the power of the pact in the same way that most pactors do. The Cabal of the Inscribed Word draw on a similar pact, older though than the Shadowbinders.
So in this cabal, I understand that you don't want to speak so much about that cabal, but where does it get its power from if there are no gods anymore?
The Whisperer of the Inscribed Word, the Secret Keeper.
Okay, I see. So, interesting.
While the Shadowbinders draw on the same pact as others do, those with the most favored gifts are the Sunslayer and the Witch Queen. Both are eternal in a way that no other Shadowbinder is. So whether this parlay and independent binding, those who enter the bindings, who enter pacts, they must be educated, tutored into how to do such things, and they're often marked by, and he gestures first at his face and then he sort of turns and gestures at yours. There are markings to identify them as such, and you have no recollection of who taught you.
No.
You think your mother did not teach you? Nor your uncle. And he shakes his head and he says, forgive me, I must confess, to speak of such beings as your uncle and your mother it makes my mind reel, Golag.
Think how I feel. I say with, attempting at some mirth. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have any. That's all just complete speculation. It's conceivable that it was my mother, considering it was a long time ago, and considering she was, I don't know, presumably still in power. I don't know that either, but
we have only met, but I fancy myself a judge of good character, not only of you, but of those who you travel with. As with your nature as a Shadowbinder, all of this, you should be cautious with whom you share these insights. The impact that the Sunslayer and the Witch Queen have had on Arthum is uncalculable. there are no two beings who have had more of an impact on our world than they. If the source of their power is somehow contacting you or trying to work through you, not only for your safety, because there will be those who would seek to take advantage of you, there are many desperate souls who would pledge themselves to your cause in hope of sharing in your power. In the same way that desperate millions pledge themselves to the Witch Queen and the Sunslayer. You have
Go ahead.
You jest among your friends of seizing the throne, and I recognize it as a jest, but I recognize it as well as one who has not walked the sands of a land drenched in blood from a butcher that sits on the seat of such a throne. I am mindful that you learning the truth of your mother's nature is a challenging role, but having only heard of how you speak of your father, it seems you are more a child of he than of she.
Indeed, it's an odd juxtaposition to now feel my mother, my uncle, I guess, and my mother make my father seem like a benign nobleman ready to take over and run things, which is completely opposite in where I come from. I mean, not completely opposite, but more in that direction, to be sure. My uncle is no wilting. My father is no wilting lily. He is considered to be stern and power wielding, to be certain. And in our realm, you know, it would be only him being described as benign in any way would only be in jest. But in comparison, ironically, he seems to be quite noble-minded in comparison only. But I think, and your comment is correct. And in fact, I broke off from my father's activities because I appreciated he has positive qualities, which you will not probably hear too often in the land of Paridar, but he goes too far, but still none of it can be is it all comparable to what happens here and in fact I even find myself wondering, with no facts whatsoever, strangely, because I haven't had such a conversation with Dak, which is ridiculous. But I wonder if he broke away from my mother in the same way that I broke away from him. Or at least that there were overlapping reasons. Not that there was identical reasons, but that there were overlapping reasons. It's a theory, as usual. That's the key word for the conversation, is theory. But I wonder if he escaped and took me with him, which would make sense.
Be the first child of a parent who repeats the same mistakes and choices, thinking them novel, when it repeats the actions of the previous generation.
Yes, because we still don't even know why my father went to Paridar. and him going there to escape my mother, maybe to oversee me, that seems a little much, but it's possible that was it. Maybe it was a co-reason. It was a complex reason that he probably didn't. I don't know. It's strange to think of my father making a moral decision in this way, but given how extreme it is here, it actually opens up the possibility that he decided, this is too much, and I want, he doesn't want to be a beggar by any stretch of the imagination, but it's not similar to here. It's not the conquering bloodfest that it was here. Paridar doesn't even remotely resemble that. And so, and with an additional reason of taking me with him, and seeing that I didn't become part of that, but then the strange connection of the strange occurrence of me being sent back, that doesn't really match with that very well. Me being sent back and taught by somebody.
You had said that your homeland makes one forget.
Mm-hmm.
The way that the tyrants and many in our land would keep secrets would be by slaying those who recall them. But if your land makes one forget, while your father may be subject to the same curse, it would mean whomever allied with him would likewise have no secrets to keep if they could not remember them.
So
it would be a way to both keep your secrets while maintaining your allies, would it not?
Meaning that perhaps my father was stashed himself?
Oh, I know not, but if he, assuming he wished to keep you secret from your mother, a land where you forget where you traveled from would certainly prevent one from... How would you ever know from where you came? How would you ever share that you had been secreted away?
Mm-hmm.
I am a stranger to your land, but it seems that the choice of destination may have been intentional on your father's part, for a variety of reasons.
Oh, I'm sure that's true. There's no doubt about that, I would think. Yep, so... And interesting that Durgash, it's also worth mentioning that Durgash took me, although he went after my father first. So I guess Durgash was trying to... It's either possible that Durgash tried to kill Dak, or he tried to kidnap him and failed. Those two are possible. Ended up just mortally wounding it, not mortally, but severely wounding him. And in the failure of a kidnap attempt, or he was trying to kill him, either, and failed at that. So either of those are possible.
You do know one thing he wanted from your father.
The roses. So I guess, or it could be a theft. So then the third one, just a simple, just. But it's funny to think of it as a simple theft, given how Dak is the husband, was married to the queen. He seems so consequential for it to be just a simple theft. But certainly he wanted the roses anyway. I'm
sorry, but was he ever married to the queen?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if we know that either. or even if marriage exists here. I mean, I don't even. Do I even know that? Do we know that? I'll ask him. I'll ask Zaboob. Is marriage a thing here?
The coupling certainly is a thing here. Yes,
Like a durable coupling is what we're saying. Yeah.
indeed. But the twin tyrants, they have concubines, but a coupling would be a binding of equals, and in their view, there's none equal to themselves except one another, perhaps. But even that is the root of this split between the twin tyrants. One thought one superior to the other.
Well, I suppose my father could
talk it over for a moment, guys. Anna keeps crying. I think she needs to go OUT, so I'll be right back.
Yep. So strangely, it is possible. It's hard to think of Dak that way, but Dak could be an escaped concubine.
Yeah. Or I thought of him like more like a captain of the guard, something like this kind of type.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Yeah, interesting theories, but just not enough. I mean, for a while, we were pretty convinced, for example, that my mother sent Vesta King. Like that was a thing. Like we were pretty, and that turned out, and now that turns out to be shaky. So it's still, theories are theories. It's easy to let theories feel like they're more than that, but we're still swimming in a sea of theories in most cases.
I think be bold and state what you think, and then you will get answers from the persons.
Yeah, I guess our question is where we're going. Are we still thinking of the sky? Is that the most likely, if we could?
I want to go to the sky because I think my folks would have knowledge, but I wouldn't trust my folks. That's the problem.
I mean, it could be useful. I'm just thinking of I'm not even thinking of personal, which is fine. Personal is fine, but I'm thinking of usefulness to our task of getting home, of figuring out what's going on here, of figuring out why we were brought here, why I was brought here, just some more facts. We have plenty of theories. Some of them are almost surely correct, but they're still theories. And so getting more information, I was thinking the sky might be a least malicious direction, given your attachment to them, Basil, whether even though it's distant, and being able, and as you say, you don't trust them, but I don't know. It seemed like a good option of bad options. A reasonable option of bad options.
Yeah.
What'd I miss?
Yeah.
Like what we do next, whether we still kind of want to go to the sky if it's available. That strange to think of my father as an escaped concubine, but maybe he could be escaped anything. And Basil threw out there that it's possible he was more like a captain of the guard, which fits his personality better than just a sex vessel. A sex vessel is possible, but
Sex Vessel was the name of my Sisters of Mercy cover band in high school.
Yeah, I mean, who didn't? That's like the first band everyone was in. But along with the macro statue, but
I have so many quips to make here, but I will refrain from that.
They're all in German, and Kevin will have the only one to have a chance at it.
They're all in German. They're all going to get us demonetized.
So,
Right.
I will only say that my brother used to have his whole room was just merchandise from the Sisters of Mercy. So
Nice.
Wow.
He would have loved Sex Vessel then. We were.
Yeah. So that's what you missed.
Okay. So then, what do you think? what do you guys, for Basil and Dr. Ersprung, what do you think the best stratagem for Golag is here?
I think lay low until we decide who we should ally with, who we should trust, if we ever find anyone we should trust. I mean, we trust this guy, it seems. But I think we just need to learn more information. So we just need to just keep meeting more people and just trying to find out what's going on, how to get home. Yeah, try and find some allies, I think is important. But who those people are is a tricky one.
What Zaboob says is while Urzul, the Reeve, he might provide an introduction to High Speaker Vothug of the Cabal of the inscribed word. They know much, and he has a connection to the Cabal within the Shadowspire city. If you intend to try to acquire some of your black roses or such, the Lowtown in Shadowspire City may still afford you some possibilities for acquiring that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I think that should be our focus, is trying to work out how to get home, and by doing that, hopefully it might open some more information on, well, why are you here in the first place, and they might be able to help us with that, and we hopefully, like I say, find some allies, and maybe we'll unravel what's going on here and whether we need to stay and help more, or just focus on getting home.
And Basil, what do you make of Golag's predicament?
I think I wouldn't. Yeah, we want to lay low in the sense that we won't go on and just proclaim that Golag is now the future king or something like that. But I think Golag should really try to contact actively whatever his patron, whatever this voice is, because I think that's the only way to find out about it. The other way would be to find out about who this whisperer behind this cabal is, because I think it seems like there is another being that is almost as strong, but it is more in reclusion right now, and maybe that is the better way to get more information, because this cabal seems to be something. And if I don't know, maybe this is the rest of what people believe, or the
what Zaboob will explain, just to give context, is the Cabal definitely has influence in the Black Tower, but Black Tower is one of many communities. There are many Pactors where, in your worlds, the faith is of the what do you call it? It's the High Host, or the Radiant Word? Heavenly Host. Thank you. Here, those who have access to greater powers, they're all just varieties of Pactors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, but there is this other entity which was called the Whisperer or something.
Well, as I'm saying, every one of those Pactors, there's a wide variety of other entities that they speak to as well. Shadowbinders are but one kind of Pactor. Those who are part of the Cabal of the Inscribed Word are another, but there are many.
Interesting. So I don't know. So that would be at least options, but I would say that maybe we should try to contact whatever is contacting Golag, or whoever is contacting Golag.
And Golag, having heard what everyone else thinks, have you changed your mind, having had the discussion of this? Do you have any certainty as to what you want to do? Not need, but want.
I mean, I think that the conversation is, we didn't have a strong direction in the first place, is my impression, but it's redirected it towards this creature. You know, the creature really took a higher role in our thinking, I think, in this conversation. Like before, it's not enough to say it was a curiosity, but it was a strange feature of this dream I had that resembled Vesta King's painting, but we didn't know what to do with it. We had a lot less idea what to do with it. And suddenly it's kind of at the center, if you will, at the top, at the center. Mm-hmm. And
so we talked, just to interrupt quickly, sorry, we talked before about the impression you got from this thing, and we're using the term creature. Your experience with it, remember, was awe. Mm-hmm. This is something that is larger than what the mortal experience could be. Zaboob has told you that since the veiling of the sun, there have been no gods here, but you would be struggling to find another word for the thing that you encountered other than a god.
Yeah, I was using creature as a generic, but yeah.
Sure. I just wanted to underscore the scale of the thing that you were.
Maybe Leviathan, you know, I'm not sure. That might be a better vague, you know, if one wasn't going to use, what would be secondary to God? But anyway, this the tentacled one in the sky seems to be, has gotten to a much more prominent position in our thinking during this conversation more than any other. Even trying to contact it has never really come up because I don't think we thought of it that way. I mean, during the painting times, during the Vesta King times, we thought about contacting my mother, not this tentacled one in the sky.
So mechanically, remember, the way that you communicate as a witch with your patron is through your familiar. Mm-hmm. There's been one time when Dr. Ersprung has been witness to you losing control of both yourself and your familiar. And that was with Ms. King's gallery.
Yeah, so that would, that, we didn't know what to do with that when we were thinking of my mother at the center of all this, but with the tentacled one, it takes on new meaning, perhaps. Again, all theories, but you know, it seems like it would make more sense that my patron would be able to cause that rather than my mother. We didn't know, but
if you wish a name for your patron beyond just the creature or the tentacled one or whatnot, Zaboob seems to be referring to it as the shadow.
The shadow. Oh, it's funny because Golag would think of himself as the shadow, but that's okay. That's a whole other thing.
God King does have a good ring to it.
Well, and I particularly like the last Shadowbinder felt good when on the mouth, you know, when you anyway. But
the last true Shadowbinder. I mean, there are Shadowbinders, but you're the true one. So
so yeah, I would say the refocus on this shadow and trying to contact it. Why not at this point? I think so. I think that makes sense. I mean, there is the downside of that is that, you know, since we don't really know what it's capable of, I mean, obviously a great deal, but just completely vague on what its parameters are. Is it possible it doesn't know I'm here? I mean, it's possible. It seems unlikely, but we don't know. So it's possible. So if we contact it, you know, is it possible that it goes, whoa, you're here? You know, that could be a negative, of course. You know, like, whoa, did I say that? No. You know, it's possible.
Yeah, there's no, Zaboob can tell you there's no lore, you know, as it were, behind how the Twin Tyrants came to be. It's only known that that's who they serve, and they've been around forever, so.
It's possible that if we contact it, it'll set off, it'll tell it may alert it where we are. You know, there could be negatives to that. So that's the negative we're looking at, because I think clearly, well, clearly in the world of theory, the shadow is interested in me and tried to. In our current top theory is it was trying to contact me through Vesta King and wants me to be ready, whatever that means. So if we contact it, be ready for that agenda to come through, pretty strongly if we call it up, if we give it a ring.
What Zabub will just ask is that if you intend to open yourself to the shadow, I would ask that you not do it among the people of the Black Tower.
Yeah, that's fair.
Those who draw the ire and attention of the Sunslayer. There is a vast desert that speaks to those who have suffered the consequences of his attention. And while I fear what they may do if they learn of your nature, they are good people. They are my people. And I would not have that come upon them.
Perfectly fair as we draw the eye of the shadow upon us.
But you have helped me a great deal, Adam, you in particular, and I will be happy to do what I can to see you on your way. It seems there are great forces at work in that have set you upon this path, and whatever reason that fortune has had to bring me along it, I would see you further along this path as best I can.
Well, we appreciate your counsel and your discretion, Zabub. For certain. We are strangers in a strange land. To us.
Well, those who share drinks among fires, at least not strangers any longer.
Indeed. And toast.
Okay. Basil, you can tell, again, like, Zabub's, maybe he's a little drunk as well. He seems genuinely in awe of what he's learning about you guys. Like, this would, imagine you are a hunter in this land, and then you're suddenly finding, the child of two god beings in your land is now among you and talking about the fate of not only his world, but two worlds. Like, he seems to be taking this remarkably well and seems to be appreciating it for what it is.
Yeah, it's fantastic. But I still wonder whether he's just a hunter or whether he himself has not some more connections to stuff he doesn't talk about.
He does have tattoos that are similar but different from what Golag had.
Yeah, I thought so, and also his knowledge of Draconic is something to be interested in the future.
Yeah.
But I think now it's not the time. It's the evening pass, I suppose.
Okay. Dr. Ersprung, you will have a day to construct or to reconstruct Igor once again, but is there anything further you wish to address before we call it a session?
No, I mean, I think he's pretty busy with that. He's concerned for Golag, his sort of mental state and his physical state after that weird coma incident, obviously. So he'll be keeping a slightly closer eye on him than normal in case something's trying to get at him, in some way. But yeah, other than that, he's gonna have to see how it plays out, I think. So he's just trying to support the group as best as he can, as always.
Then, guys, unless there is anything further you wish to add,
No.
I think it brings us to the end of our session. So, for those listening at home, Thank you so much for joining us for session part 5 of the Spires of Paridar Survive the Veiled Sun mystery. As is always the case, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns regarding the session, the campaign, or the game we're playing, please don't hesitate to leave a comment in the comment section down below, and I'll endeavor to reply in a timely fashion. There's also a link down below to the Dungeon Musings Discord server, and we have a channel there dedicated to this campaign, as well as one for Pathfinder 2nd Edition, as well as one for most of the other games and campaigns we run on the channel. There's also Find a Group, GM discussion, virtual tabletop chat. There's a terrific, helpful, knowledgeable, and friendly community over there, and you are more than welcome to join us. There's also a link down below to our friends at Noble Knight Games. Noble Knight Games is the preeminent unionized retailer of hard-to-find and out-of-print RPGs in North America. Not only do they have an incredible selection of new role-playing games, board games, and card games, they have an unmatched selection of hard-to-find and out-of-print RPGs. We have a discount code listed down below, the MUSER10, all caps, all one word. That'll save you 10% on any purchase of $10 or more through their website, starting actually in 2 weeks. Well, it's live right now, and then it'll be starting again in 2 weeks. In the next 2 weeks, from the time of recording, Noble Knight will be having its winter sale, and many of the items are discounted even further beyond the 10%. So you don't have the discount code during that time. You've got the otherwise discounts for the next 2 weeks. Then that'll be active until the end of 2025. If you're listening to this after January 1st, 2026, well, then come back to one of our more recent videos. You'll see what the current discount code is there. The last thing I will say is a huge thank you to our stalwart illuminators. So Sean, Ingolf, and Darren, thank you so much for playing today, guys. Congratulations on putting the pieces together here. I think with these long-term campaigns, these kind of, sitting down with the puzzle pieces and trying to figure out what fits where is useful in just taking your bearing once again and getting a sense of where you're going to go next. And speaking of where you're going to go next, I am very sorry for what's going to happen next, guys. But we'll be back in 2 weeks' time to be under the veiled sun once again, deep under it, in fact. But until then, we hope that we gave you a few hours to take your mind off the troubles of our world and think about the troubles that our heroes lost under the veiled sun are encountering. And until we see you again, stay safe, stay healthy, and happy gaming.